If you're self-employed or run a small limited company, do you know what expenses you can actually claim? In this video, I'll show you clearly what you can claim and what is disallowed. Now, this video is for UK-based sole traders and directors of small limited companies. If you're not sure of what to claim or which expenses are allowed, you are in the right place. Now, before we continue, may I please remind you to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more tax tips and advice. Now, let's continue. First, let's look at the golden rule. What is the golden rule? The golden rule is HMRC says expenses must be wholly and exclusively for the purpose of your trade. If there's any personal element, you must apportion it. For example, if you use your mobile phone for both business and personal use, then you must apportion and disallow the personal use element and only allow the business use portion. Same applies for vehicles and other items that you might use both for business and personal use. Now let's look at expenses you can claim. That is allowable expenses, assuming they are used for business only. Use of home, either the flat rate or apportioned costs. Mileage, which is HMRC rates. So for example, 45p per mile for the first 10,000 miles. Travel and accommodation for business trips. Subsistence during travel, that is modest meals. Phone and internet, the business portion only. Office supplies and stationery. Business insurance. So for example, if you require public liability, professional indemnity, all those are allowed. Software and subscriptions. So if you use for your business, maybe you've got like Canva or you've got Google storage. So subscriptions and software, they are allowable expenses. Bank charges for your business account. Staff wages, including directors' wages. So if you are the sole director of your limited company and your business is registered as an employer with HMRC, then your salary or wages are an allowable expense. Employer pensions contributions. Now this is also only for limited companies. There's a different treatment when you are self-employed on pension contributions. However, with a limited company, it's a 100% allowable expense. Professional fees, so fees whether to your profession or services such as accountancy services, those are allowable expenses. Uniforms and protective clothing. So if your business requires you to wear protective clothing or uniform, then that is an allowable expense. Bear in mind, if this is not a requirement, then the dress to work is not an allowable expense. We'll look at that in a minute. Advertising and marketing. So advertising, anything to do with advertising and marketing, those are allowable expenses. Training to maintain existing skills, those are allowable expenses. So what that means is if your profession requires you to do continued professional development or just to refresh your skills, your current skills, to do with your profession, those are allowed. Trivial benefits. Now, trivial benefits, these are only relating to limited companies because there's no trivial benefit allowable expenses when you are self-employed. So trivial benefits, these are benefits of up to £50 and they are allowed. Anything above £50, then it's no longer considered a trivial benefit and then it becomes disallowed. Now let's look at disallowed or restricted expenses. Here are common expenses you might think are allowed but aren't. Client entertainment. So for example, if you go to meet with a client, you buy them a drink or a meal or any gifts, those are not allowed. Everyday clothing, even if you wear it for work, that is not allowed. Home improvements, not allowed. Fines and penalties. So even if you drove your car to go for a business meeting, but then on the way you got yourself a penalty for speeding or any fines, those are not allowable expenses. Commuting to your usual place of work. So for example, if you leave home to go to work, that travel is not an allowed expense. Training for brand new skills. So this is where you are training for brand new skills. For example, if you are a plumber and you decide to create your own website, but then you train to get those skills of how to create a new website or things like that, then that is considered as outside of your normal profession and it's not allowed. Directors' personal spending via company card. So if you own a limited company and you make your personal shopping using the business card, that is not allowed. So all of those expenses on that card for that personal portion, they are not allowed. Gifts over £50 without your business name, those are not allowed. Now let's look at a special case. Staff parties. Yes, you can claim Christmas party or summer barbecue, but only if you follow the rules. And the rules are, it must be an annual event, for example, maybe Christmas or summer, so maybe a summer barbecue for the staff. It must be open to all staff, so not just a select few, but all staff. It must not cost more than £150 per person in total. So that means each staff member gets a total of £150 or the cost of £150 in total. That is including VAT, including travel and any other associated costs. So those put together must not go to more than £150 per person. And these type of expenses are only allowed, or they only apply to limited companies only. So things like annual staff party or summer staff party, these are only allowed to limited companies only and not self-employed. Finally, let's look at 3 common mistakes to avoid. 1. Mixing business and personal costs with no clear split. That's a no-no. 2. Claiming mileage and fuel costs together. So where you claim mileage and at the same time you claim your fuel costs, that is not allowed and that is a big error. 3. Claiming staff gifts of over £50 as trivial benefits. That is a no-no and it's a big error. And those are your allowed and disallowed expenses. Want a full checklist that you can download? Then check in the description. My name is Dora from Great Certified Accountants. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more tax tips and advice. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon.